The desert winds howled over the golden dunes, carrying whispers of a dying war. Under the blazing sun stood two figures, a queen draped in silver armor and a soldier with dust upon his face. Between them, silence thicker than blood. Queen Sarathiel of the Elven Dominion lifted the bronze cup in her hands. "Drink, human," she said softly, her voice calm but laced with command. "You've crossed the forbidden sands to stand before me. The least I can offer is water, before I decide your fate." The soldier bowed slightly, his armor clinking. "Thank you, your majesty." His voice was rough, cracked by days of travel. He took the cup, the water cool against his trembling fingers, and drank deeply. Sarathiel watched him closely. Humans were not allowed in her desert, not since the War of the Seven Suns, when her kin had fallen by the thousands. Yet something about this man was different. He did not carry the arrogance of conquerors. His eyes held something else. Sorrow. "What is your name?" she asked. "Captain Darren Vale, of the Northern Legion." The name echoed in her memory like an old wound. "Vale," she whispered. "That was the name of the man who killed my brother." He looked up sharply. "Then perhaps I am here to atone for his sin." The queen's jaw tightened. Around them, her guards stirred uneasily, their spears glinting. "Atonement does not wash blood from the sand," she said. "No," Darren replied, meeting her gaze. "But truth might." Sarathiel's eyes narrowed. "Speak, then. Why are you here?" He reached into his pack and drew out a small, worn piece of cloth, blue with silver thread. The royal banner of the Elven Dominion, torn and faded. "I found this," he said quietly, "in the ruins of the old outpost near Solmar Ridge. There were bones, elven bones. Children. I buried them myself." His voice trembled. "And I swore that if ever I met their queen, I would tell her, the massacre wasn't ordered by men. It was done by something else." "Something else?" she echoed, her tone dangerously soft. He nodded. "The same creatures that slaughtered my village last winter. They wear men's faces, but their shadows move differently." Sarathiel stared at him. For the first time in centuries, uncertainty crossed her perfect, immortal features. "You speak of the Shadekin." "I speak of monsters," Darren said simply. "And they're coming again." The desert wind sighed between them. Sarathiel turned, her silver hair glinting in the light. "You expect me to believe a tale of demons to unite with those who murdered my kin?" "I expect you to see what's coming," he said firmly. "Your people will die, again, unless we stand together." A pause. Then, the faintest crack in her cold mask. "Once," she said quietly, "a man told me the same. He was brave, foolish, and kind. I never learned his fate." "Perhaps," Darren said softly, "he was my ancestor." Sarathiel's gaze softened. For a heartbeat, time folded, and the queen of an immortal race looked not at a soldier, but at a man who reminded her of something she had lost long ago, trust. She stepped closer. "Tell me, Captain Vale, if I were to believe you, what would you have me do?" "Come with me," he said. "See the northern wastes. See the truth for yourself." A murmur went through the elven guards. The queen raised her hand. Silence fell instantly. "You realize," she said, "that if you deceive me, I will end your life before you draw your next breath?" He met her gaze without flinching. "If I lie, I deserve it." For a long moment, the desert seemed to hold its breath. Then Sarathiel extended her hand. "Very well, human. I will go with you." Days later, the border of the burning plains. They rode together beneath a blood-red sky. The journey was silent, At first, Darren noticed how she rode without tiring, how her eyes missed nothing. Yet beneath that steel exterior, there was something weary, something burdened. "Your kind," she said one night, staring into the fire, "build cities where we once sang to the stars. Do you ever wonder what you've destroyed?" He poked at the flames. "Every night. But I also wonder what we could build, together." She said nothing, but her lips curved ever so slightly. That night, a storm rolled across the dunes, black, alive. Darren woke to screams. Shapes crawled through the dark, tall, twisted things that shimmered like shadows come alive. "Shade-kin!" he shouted, drawing his sword. Sarathiel's eyes glowed bright silver as she summoned her magic. Blades of light cut through the night. One of the creatures lunged at Darren, claws like smoke. He struck, but the blade passed through it like mist. "They cannot be killed by steel," she cried. "Only by light." She threw him a crystal shard. "Break it!" He crushed it in his fist, and a wave of radiance burst forth, searing the darkness. The Shadekin shrieked and melted away. When it was over, Darren collapsed to his knees, panting. "Now you see," he gasped. Sarathiel looked around, the sand blackened, the air heavy with ash. "You were right," she said quietly. "They have returned." Her gaze met his, fierce and determined. "Then we fight together." The Alliance. In the months that followed, a fragile alliance was born. Human and elf stood side by side for the first time in an age. The Shadekin came in endless waves, but together they held the line. Sarathiel fought like a storm-given form, every strike of her blade leaving trails of light. Darren was always at her side, his courage unwavering. And somewhere between battles and dawns, something unspoken grew between them, a bond neither dared name. One evening, as the war finally quieted, Darren stood upon a dune, watching the sunset. Sarathiel approached, her armor gleaming. "You've done what no man has done before," she said softly. "You've made me believe again." He smiled faintly. "And you've made me hope." She looked away, her voice trembling. "Our worlds cannot mix, Darren. You will age, and I will not." He reached out, gently touching her hand. "Then let me spend what time I have in the light you carry." For a moment she said nothing, then placed the bronze cup in his hands once more. "The first gift I gave you," she whispered. "May it remind you that even in the desert, something pure can live." He smiled. "Then I'll never let it fall." Epilogue. Years later, long after the war had ended, travelers spoke of a silver queen who still watched over the desert, her heart half-human, her soul of light. And somewhere in the endless sands, an old bronze cup still glowed faintly in the moonlight, waiting for the man who once promised her eternity in a mortal breath.